Hi, welcome, welcome.
Welcome. Hi, Pal. Hi, Taylor. Oh,
They're connecting. They're still coming in.
yeah.
Hi, pal.
Hi, Pal.
Good to
Hi,
see you.
same.
Yeah. Great to see you again, Pal. I saw you this morning.
Nice. It's a good day.
Yes.
How's your times?
Yes. Twice in 12 hours. Thank you. Thank you. Pal, curious, did you get an email reminder? Did you sign up with Eventbrite or Meet
Yes. I
Eventbrite, right?
signed it up with Eventbrite, and the first time I didn't get the reminders, but this time, I think it was yesterday or the day before. That's when I got the reminder that it was like April 3rd, and I was okay. And then this
Oh,
one had the Zoom
Perfect.
link, so I was like, okay, phew. Yeah.
We just want to
good.
make sure people are receiving the emails and the link. Thank you. Thank you.
All right, people are coming
We
in.
have an iPhone. We're just gonna wait maybe a minute, right, Michelle?
Yeah.
As people are
Well, people are
checking
coming
in.
in. We can go ahead and get started. We're at the top of the hour. We have a lot of amazing, brilliant, insightful, wise, mind stimulating, life-changing things to share with you. So thank you for coming, Pau, Victor, and our friend iPhone. Victor, good to meet you. And so I thought Janet and I thought we would start with a little bit of an icebreaker even before we introduced ourselves. So take a moment and think about what's one belief about money that you grew up with. This workshop tonight is about love and money, strengthening the relationships with love and money and strengthening all of your professional, personal, and even intimate relationships, as well as strengthening your financial wealth. So, our first challenge is to think about what's one belief about money you grew up with. And if you would like to share, because we've got a tight group, you're welcome to take yourself off mute and share what's one belief about money you grew up with.
I
Pal,
I guess
would
I
you?
can go. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, this is
Let's
going to
Okay.
be
go.
a big growth workshop for you.
Okay, so I don't know if I could say that I grew up with it, as in I didn't have it since I was a child, but more as a teenager. Like everybody, oh my God, everybody was telling me like life is hard and it's hard to make money and it's everything's expensive. Life is expensive. Like you're not gonna make a living, doing this, and that because you're not gonna get paid well or whatever. So I guess that would be. Sorry for the noise.
So, your the messages that you were receiving were money is hard to get and
Yes,
it's
basically.
and so you're going to have to work very hard for it. What's been your actual experience, your
You know,
relationship with money?
oh, actually, I think I kind of fell into that again. Because there was a time a few years ago when I was just doing naturally, and I was like, no, F that belief, I did it. But then I guess I kind of fell back into it for the past few months, and I'm kind of recovering from that.
So you overcame the belief system of it's hard to earn money. And then what I call you return to your factory setting.
Exactly.
And you're like, this couldn't possibly be true.
Yeah.
There you go. Janet, do you want to speak to this topic at all?
Yeah, I can share my experience growing up. I have to work hard to get money, right? Work hard, keep working, and then it'll eventually, hopefully, come. That's what my belief was. And of course, there's this saying, right? Money doesn't grow on trees. That's the other one, right?
Right,
Yeah.
right. Yeah, that's we grew up with you can't get blood from a turnip. So that it's just never gonna show up. Don't. Don't even think it's going to. Whatever you have right now, it's all you're ever going to have. So work with what you've got.
Yeah, that's right.
Queen Holly, thank you for joining us. Welcome, welcome. We're going to jump you right in if you'd like. We're talking about what's one belief about money you grew up with? Good evening. So,
Just
lack. Okay,
lack.
very good.
Pure
Yeah,
lack.
I guess that was similar to our story of if it's not there, it's not there, it's never going to be there. So, and that's a very different mindset than you can, if you work really hard, you can earn it versus, it's just not even going to show its face, no matter how hard you work. iPhone, do you want to jump in or are you on listening mode, which is also fine? Okay, let's do another one and then we'll dive in a little bit deeper. So thank you for joining us to Love and Money, Strengthening Relationships and Financial Wealth. Here's another question for you. What's one word that describes your relationship with money? So give us one word that describes your relationship with money. Pow?
I was gonna say tight.
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 Okay.
Seem like just enough.
Yeah, just enough.
I
Janet,
want
do
to
you
say
want to share some wisdom with us about one word that describes your relationship with money?
learning to say, Michelle, it's limitless.
Limitless. Good.
It's limitless for all of us. For all of us.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I'm
Queen
working towards
Holly?
that, working on that.
Yeah, Queen Holly, do you want to either speak or put something in the chat? I see something there. Okay. All right. Yes, the question is, what's one word that describes your relationship with money? And then with this knowledge and awareness, we can share the abundance. Because interestingly enough, I didn't grow up as a relationship coach. That came to me from other people hiring me as a relationship coach. But even though I grew up in a family where it simply wasn't there, we were always able to find a way. So, what's one word that describes my relationship with money is abundance and possibility. And it may not be the way you think it's going to be, but you can always achieve the goal that you want. So, even though it wasn't a traditional standard, oh, you go to work, you get paid, or it might be hard to achieve, or there may be so much lack that it's impossible, or it doesn't grow on trees. I've always had the mindset that there is always a way with what to work with what we have. So with that, I'd love to introduce us and welcome you all to this workshop. We've got lots of good discoveries here today, which will unblock your potential both on the wealth side as well as in all the relationships with your life. Janet Hum is a wealth advisor. And Janet, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Michelle. So my name is Janet Hum. I work with individuals who want to reach financial freedom and time freedom, but struggle with where to start, how to increase cash flow, how to make active and passive income, and how to just have additional income stream. Most people focus on how to make more money, but very few know how to truly grow and keep it. And that's where I come in. I'm a daughter, wife, sister, mom. I'm also a CPA turned financial strategist, and I specialize in helping professionals, especially women, take control of their finance, overcome fear, and create tax smart wealth building strategies that set them up for lasting financial independence. And here, my goal is simple: help you grow your wealth in the simplest, smartest, most efficient way possible so you can keep more of what you earn and build the future that you deserve. What about yourself, Michelle?
Thank you. I'm Michelle Hoffmann, and I am your relationship coach. I was a portfolio manager, a senior level director in a medical publishing company, a social scientist at Stanford University, and all I ever really wanted was to be in a healthy partnership with somebody who I could share life celebrations and life's challenges with. And together we'd maintain our own individuality and identity and share the universe of that gorgeous relationship that we were developing in such a way that it's filled with inside knowledge and pillow talk and shared experiences and communication. And when we needed one another, we could support one another to grow. It took a little longer for me to find him than I thought it should. What I didn't realize was that I was developing a process that I use to help people be relationship ready, even if that means there was grief and we had to rebuild life after loss. Becoming relationship ready, knowing who you are and knowing who the right person is to invite into your life is like finding a needle in a haystack. Because when you know who the right one is, it's very clear and it's easy to let them know you're the right one for them. Then it's just a matter of clearing away the hay from the needle in the haystack. And it's like, hey.
Hmm.
So I teach people how the communication skills to trust themselves, understand their self-worth and self-value in professional, personal, and even in romantic relationships. Tonight, thank you for joining us. Good to see you, Karen. We're
Bye.
going to share with you all kinds of tips and tools and insight to talk about strengthening your relationships and financial wealth, because this is all about love and money. So we started off with one belief about money you grew up with, because so often this is where things begin, where you begin, and when you're learning about the world, the money mindset that you've been shown is generally what we learn. And as Powell was saying, Powell was able to break through that, and it was like there was abundance. And then somehow she reverted to what I call her factory setting. And then it was like, money is hard again. And one word that describes your relationship with money could be tight or scarce or struggle. It could also be um, abundance and resilience and versatility. So let's talk a little bit about understanding your relationship with money. And Janet, would you like to share with us a little bit of your insight into how childhood and past experiences shape your financial beliefs?
Absolutely. Thanks, Michelle. I think, going back to your first question, what was my belief growing up? And I shared that it was money doesn't grow on a tree. I gotta work hard for it, right? So as a child, I started very early babysitting, right? At 10 years old, I was babysitting, working hard, right? And then as I grow up, even in high school, I had a co-op. I made sure I had a co-op. I would start working, making money, right? And then, of course, with post-secondary, I was also making sure that I get to a program that would allow me to work while I study. No, my parents immigrated to Canada. I'm in Canada many years ago when we were very young. And because of that, they worked 2, 3 jobs at a time. And so that shaped my childhood, my past experience with my financial beliefs, Michelle.
And how do you guide people about making decisions about their wealth based on their childhood and past experiences?
Yeah, great question. Part of it is just understanding where we came from and then understanding, you know what? We can, like Pow, we can break through this. It's something I have to, if I can call it, brainwash myself every single day, right?
Yeah.
What is that one word? It's abundance. It's limitless. It is limitless. Yes, I have to work hard for my money. That's called active income. But at the same time, I got to learn ways to get my money work hard for me, because I can't work until I'm 90, even if I want to. Right? My body probably won't allow me, number one. Number two, I don't know if anyone will hire me when I'm 90 years old. So I need to learn ways to get my money work hard for me, if not even harder than I work for the money.
So developing strategies to create passive income so your money is working for you. And that's
Absolutely.
what I understand people come to you for. So that although, of course, we can work hard and earn the active income when you've got a wealth advisor like Janet, then she guides you to get your money to work with and for you so that you've got the passive income. Um, one of the things that I'd like to present as far as relationships, not only with money, but with your inner thoughts, your relationship with your body, with your where you live, with your family, your community, your career opportunities, your academics. These are all relationships that you have in your world. With that, our past experiences certainly do teach us what to do and not to do when we know what the outcome is that we'd like. And I believe that when we take all the information that we possibly can in from our five senses, there are more than five, but taste, touch, sight, smell, sound. Simply, there's proprioception where you are in space and also a sense of time. There are other types of ways that we collect information about the world around us. Then, based on our understanding and our past experiences, we either make decisions to take action or not based on the outcome that we would like. For example, if you are touching the stove and your past experiences, ooh, that's hot, you're going to pull back. So if your past experience was money and with your relationship with money, money is hard to achieve. It could be that you have an abundant time and then you go, ooh, I need to pull back because I forgot. Money is hard to achieve, just like the stove is hot. But if you learn to put the oven mitt on, then you can get what you need off the stove without burning your hand. So there's always a way. Um, and when we're talking about relationships with money, one of the things that I, as a relationship coach, like to share with people is that your relationship with money may reflect other aspects of your life in your relationships with other things in your life. So if you feel like money is hard to achieve, you might have that same messaging of relationships and intimate partnerships are hard to achieve. And it may be that you think it's hard to have relationships with professional colleagues or your friends. And so you may be limiting yourself. So if you've got those messages that money is hard or it's not working for you, what we would love to do is unblock those thoughts and concepts in such a way. And what's magic, but it's really not magic, it's fact that when you take away those limiting beliefs, it creates opportunities in every aspect of your life. So, we wanted to talk about money blocks, scarcity versus abundance. And Janet, did you want to speak about different alternatives there?
Yeah, you know what? We talked about the money block lots. Some of us talked about the fear of losing money or having a scarcity mindset that, there's never enough, and we can't, it's creating a sense of constant lack, which can prevent us from feeling worthy of financial abundance or making smart financial decisions. There's also some of us feeling guilty or shameful around money, right? Not having enough can cause anxiety and self-sabotage. or preventing us from making empowered financial choices, or the fear of success. Some of us are just afraid of succeeding because they fear what the success might bring, whether it's attention or responsibility or higher expectation to perform. Or some of us just don't feel we're worthy of wealth. And the lack of self worth can lead to the belief that we don't deserve financial abundance, right? And, Michelle's already talked about negative belief from childhood. What about avoiding financial conversations? Some of us are fearful of discussing money, whether it's with a partner or advisor, but that can lead to poor decision making, lack of financial planning, and often missed opportunity. And then some of us procrastinate. We avoid planning or putting off the most important financial decision, like creating a budget or saving for retirement or investing, right? Or there's unhealthy money comparison. Comparing my financial situation with other can feel, inadequate, jealous, lack, just sense of lack or just overall negativity, right? So to Michelle's point, we need to address these blocks, change our mindset around them so that we can build a healthy relationship with money and achieve financial success.
Gorgeous. Thank you, Janet, because that's how we set the path to going from feeling that there's a lack of money and what it does to you, and that it builds your anxiety and stress levels, and that it is hard. So it's something that's unachievable or unattainable. Janet and I have another exercise for all of you to be nice and interactive and really get the aha juices going. And then, so I'm going to pose this and then I'm going to speak to something else. And what we'd like you to do is have a little bit of a money story reflection. And all of these little exercises actually build on themselves so that you can actually have the aha moment in the next 45 minutes here. So you can either write down or think about your very first memory of money and how it affects your current relationship with money. So what's one of your first memories with money, and how does it affect your current relationship with money? And as you're thinking that through, one of the things that Janet inspired me to share with you is about setting the foundation of a relationship. And it could be setting the groundwork for your relationship with money as of today and going forward. It could be setting the groundwork for a relationship with a partner that is either someone you're inviting into your life or someone who's already in your life. It could be setting the foundation of the relationship with a new chapter of your life. And one of the things that I talk about with my clients is I'm not going to ask you to make a 180-degree personality turn. Nobody can do that. And even if you do that, it's not sustainable. What we do ask for is what I call a one-click pivot. Just one click, because what that does is it expands your comfort zone to be a little bit larger of a comfort zone. And once you're there, you go, ah, I'm safe here. I don't have to revert back to my factory setting. And then we expand our horizons a little bit more. I think Pau's going to use that reference from now on. So when we're setting the foundation of a relationship, regardless of who or what that relationship is with, and it could be the relationship with revenue and resources, even if it's not money particularly, it could be the empowerment to achieve what you would like in the world, regardless of the financial support that you have behind that. We want to set the foundation of that relationship in a really healthy way. And what Janet was saying, and so what I want to do is underline and highlight that while you are all thinking of your first memory of money and how it affects your relationship with money now, is that it's important to be able to feel safe in a relationship And safe enough to feel like you're home. You've got a sense of calm. Like I was saying, it's like, that's a wonderful, safe place for you, where you can be vulnerable and share your open heart and know that you're still going to be safe, even when things don't go just right. And what Janet was saying was being able to do hard things, to have the challenging conversations, to be able to admit, like, oh, we could have done this better. That's what allows everyone to feel safe enough and partnered enough, whether it's with a relationship coach, a wealth advisor, a partner, a friend, your inner voice, whatever it is, knowing that you're safe enough, that it's okay to be perfectly imperfect, and that we're going to stretch our strengths and strengthen our weaknesses for proper balance, and that lifts everyone up. All right, so I'm hoping that we gave you enough time. Who would like to share your first memory with money and how it affects your relationship with money now? And you're welcome. Oh, Karen, please join us. Take yourself off mute. Wait, we need you to come off mute. See if I can do it for you.
There we go.
There.
Can
Thank
you
you.
hear me now? Okay.
Yes, thank you. Good to hear your voice.
So I think I was around 12 years old and I needed a pool bag. And that was my first time. Mom said, okay, you can go shop for it. And my family didn't have a lot of money. We weren't poor, but we were conscious of spending. So I went to so many stores, comparison shopping. And when I showed it to my mother and she thought it was great, she liked the idea that I did so much. So is positive, but somewhat the negative is right now, currently, I am still cautious, which in some ways I'm glad. I am in retirement for I took an early retirement. So it has helped me, but I'm now working on spending more to enjoy myself in
There
retirement.
you go.
Not easy. You're so used to saving, to change and start
Mhm.
spending is hard. So,
Very, very good. I have a fun exercise to share with you as a result of that.
okay.
One more. Who else would like to share? What was one of your first memories of money, and how does it affect your relationship with money now?
I can
Ju
share, Michelle. My
Okay,
story is
thank
actually
you.
very similar to Karen's. Growing up, it's not that we're poor, but we're very cautious. You're absolutely right. And then I think maybe that's why I went into accounting, always being almost risk adverse, right, as a profession. And then just being mindful of where I'm spending, how I'm spending. And you know what, Karen, being a saver is not a bad thing. It is a good thing, especially when people are living longer and longer. We never know. I don't know about you, but I don't want to outlive my money. Right? So it's a good problem, if I can call it that. But yes, definitely being cautious, being risk averse, trying to think about, what are the pros and cons and everything. But at the end of the day, what I come to conclusion is I don't know what I don't know. So I need to continue to learn from people around me, from legitimate sources, and things like that.
Awesome. Yeah. Going to one of the exercises I do with my clients is just like a business has a board of directors, developing your own advisory board is a brilliant way to know who to go to for what. And then you don't feel so alone because you have people who are your emotional support people, subject matter experts of every kind, like Janet as a wealth advisor, like me as a relationship coach, and whatever areas of expertise that you share with the world, as well as accountability partners and those people who will leverage their position for your success. That's like the shortest version of how to develop an advisory board. Karen, I wonder if you would like to play a game with me.
Sure.
Yay, you're fun. Thank you.
Mhm.
One of the things that I do is I help people by giving them an understanding of their relationship strategies. So Karen, can you think of a significant purchase that you have made at any point in your life? A trip, a home, a car, a couch, a lamp, anything at all? You kind of gave us a little insight with the swim bag. This is what inspired this.
Oh, I'm actually going on what I consider an expensive vacation, treating my daughter. So still is a big deal for me this year.
Okay. And how did you go about, not that I'm suggesting in any way that we purchase relationships, but how did you go about making the decision of this trip with your daughter?
Well, I have really had a strong interest in seeing Europe. I've never been. I found the idea of a river cruise wonderful, the idea of packing up and leaving one hotel and doing that over and over and spending so much time in transit had me interested in that. I was married, I'm a widow, married 38 years, and it would have been 50 this month. And I never really was alone much in my life. So my daughter is my comfort zone to travel with. And I decided I want to enjoy my money with her instead of her enjoying it when I'm gone. So
There we go.
that's a big deal for me. But it's for me, like I have neighbors that like do these Viking cruises, like, like the rest of us go to the supermarket. So um, for me, it was a big decision, but I'm glad I did it and I'm excited, but it wasn't easy because I'm not a big spender. My husband was more a spender. We were like a good team. He was more a spender. I was the conservative, and we balanced each other out.
Okay. All right. So the game that I play here, and I'm going to try, I tried to get as many little moments as I could in what you shared. Do you remember playing Mad Libs as a kid? And it was a
No.
game to teach us about nouns and verbs and adjectives. And it would be like, oh, we're going on a trip. Give us a noun, give us this. And then we would fill in the blank, and it was hilarity would ensue.
Oh, I see. Yeah, I remember now. Yeah.
Okay, so what I'm going to do is we're going to change the noun trip into a relationship with money. So you wanted to treat your daughter to money, and you had a strong interest in a river cruise, and you were, let's see, interested, oh, you were over the idea of packing up and spending time in transit because that would cost money. And you were never really alone without money. Your daughter is your comfort zone for money, and you enjoy money with her, and that's what's a big deal. So with the neighbor going on the Viking cruises, um, I didn't get the last half of that, but it's a big deal for you to spend this money, and you're very excited about the decision that you've made, and understanding that the relationship that you had with your late husband was such that he was the one who was able to be the big spender of money and you were the conservative one. You're now taking on that role for yourself by treating your daughter. So your relationship strategy with money kind of comes clear here, that you benefited from what you learned from your late husband, and it became clear through the game, as it was obviously, that you realize that the money that you have is a way to share time with your comfort tool of your daughter in a way where you're sharing experiences and living fully together. So well done. Thank you. Thank you. Good strategy. All right, we're still right on schedule. Welcome to the new people who have joined us. We are talking about love and money, strengthening your relationships and financial wealth. And because those things go hand in hand, because of the relationship we have with people and with the way that we manage our wealth. So we have experts in both arenas. So talking about love, communication, and money, Janet, I wonder if you can share with us how financial stress, and I know Queen Holly has already expressed this, how financial
Mhm.
stress impacts self-worth, intimacy, and trust.
Yeah, absolutely. You know what? Finance is so much key. It's not only just if we have an abundant mindset, we're free, we're more generous with those around, with ourselves and with those around us. We're confident in how we carry ourselves, what we do as well. And it also creates intimacy and trust because it's we're more giving in our relationship as well, right? And thanks for alluding to the fact, Karen, for saving and spending, an avoider and investor. Those are the four common money personalities, right? So, Karen, you identify yourself as a saver and your husband, late husband, as a spender. What about an avoider and investor? Are we any of that? Have you thought about that? No, a
Are you
saver
asking me
is.
specifically?
Oh
I
no,
don't.
just in general. Just in general. Happy to jump in. We're a small group. We're very intimate. Well, a saver is someone that prefers to save and avoid to spend it unnecessarily. Often looks at the long-term financial security, values stability, and tends to be cautious when making financial decisions. And that's sort of the characteristics of a saver. A spender enjoys spending money on experience, material goods, and immediate pleasures. They often value living in the moment and tend to focus on instant gratification. They might feel uneasy with budgeting or limiting purchases. Any one of us like that here? Maybe, maybe not. Or maybe we know someone like that, as I described that, right? Think of the avoider. Do you know anyone in this category? They tend to avoid dealing with finances altogether, either because of fear, confusion, or just feeling overwhelmed. And they often ignore budgeting, financial planning, and money management. They prefer to not think about it or leave financial decisions to others. Can you think of at least one person that's an avoider? I can. The last one, the investor. They focus on growing wealth through investment, business venture, and strategic risk taking. They value long-term financial growth and may be willing to take calculated risk. They often think in the term of building assets, wealth building strategies, and financial independence. Do you know anyone that's an investor in your circle? These are, out of the saver, spender, avoider, and the investor tends to be, I guess, less in our population. And here are some key dynamics in the relationship between savers and spenders. Oftentimes they face conflict because of their opposing approaches to money. One seeks security while the other seeks enjoyment. Finding a balance is the key if you're in a relationship like that. A saver and investor can work very well together if they understand the importance of balancing the risk and safety in financial planning. Interestingly, the avoider tend to clash with all other money personalities. But communication and gentle encouragement can help them engage more actively with finances. With the investors, they also make great partners because they share long-term visions. It's important for investors to remain open to immediate generosity. And understanding these money personality can, and how they interact can help individuals and couples communicate better about finances, leading to a healthy financial habit and also relationships. Michelle?
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you, Janet. Those are words of wisdom that we want to keep resonating through our minds as we move forward. And it's also interesting how when people come to me to find the right relationship in their lives, it's often because they've had repeated negative relationship experiences. And I know we've got some very real stories. Thank you for being vulnerable and sharing with us what's going on in the chat. And sometimes Having money gives us a sense of buying power and empowerment. And that kind of power is like, I finally have something. I can finally exert my power and feed my family. I can finally spend the money on something that's an impulse buy. And what I'd love to share, there's just I always need things as I don't want to be without something I need. That kind of scarcity mentality leads us to this impulse purchasing. And then what happens is neurobiologically, what's happening is you're getting a dopamine hit. And these neurotransmitters do very well for encouraging people to spend more. Like in Vegas, it's all about the lights and excitement and the dopamine hits that you get, because dopamine in your body encourages you to do more of that same thing. This is why social media is so popular, and so on and so forth. The challenge there's nothing wrong with good dopamine excitement, but there's very frequently a dump after it. So there's this letdown of, I've now spent all my money in Vegas and I didn't earn enough to actually take care of my family. And the other thing about having this constant drive for an immediate reward system is that it flushes your system, preventing serotonin, another neurotransmitter that is also a hormone, to fill in the gaps. Now, the difference between serotonin and oxytocin, which is the neurotransmitter hormone that encourages us to reach out to build community and form relationships and love relationships, loving ones, is when your system is flushed with dopamine, there's no room for serotonin to come in. And dopamine is that quick high, that impulse buy. Whereas serotonin, that's like the get rich quick, versus serotonin, which is the investor's neurotransmitter, if I'm going to do a comparison there, that gives you a sense of security and safety. So for my friend here who is saying, I want to have that impulse buy, I wonder if working with somebody like Janet or a wealth advisor and making this, giving yourself satisfaction of the impulse purchase of being an investor rather than a spender all the time, that some piece of that goes to a more secure serotonin rush where you're feeling like you're establishing something, a sense of security. Then when you're in a position, like Karen was saying, she's now in a position to go out and share adventures with her daughter in a way that she may not have made that choice before, but it's because she was establishing that security along the way. Then there was another note in the chat about balancing avoider and saver. And it is true with all types. Again, another wonderful exercise that we share is developing an idea of who you are in the world right now and who you want to be going forward. And I call that your personal profile. From that, when we establish goals and ideas of what you would like to do and be and experience in your one precious life, it gives you a roadmap. And it's wonderful to put in your core value systems along this roadmap and this path, particularly because all of the decisions that you make are in alignment with your core value system. Then, if for some reason you go off and you want the impulse buys, like the sparkly object, you know that's totally fine, but realize it's not in line with your core value system. And I bring this up in reference to balancing being an avoider and a saver in partnership or within yourself, because avoiders will tend to not feel safe enough in the relationship to bring up the hard topics or to say that they are who they say they are. But when somebody feels safe enough to share that, then we have a point to start with. And it's also hard to be a saver and an investor and a spender all at the same time. But when you're in partnership in a harmonized balance, then you understand how to diversify your portfolio, not only with your wealth, but with the relationships that you have. All right, so our next uh, fun topic is practicing wealth building strategies. And Janet, will you share with us a little bit about cash flow management and budgeting basics and mindful spending?
Absolutely. Thank you, Michelle, for the lead. And you're right. Like it's, some days it's hard, but we just have to learn step by step how to get there. And here I'm going to go through 6 steps with you. Okay. To get to the financial freedom, to get to the financial independence, to reach your financial goal. How do we get there? A lot of people don't know where to start. Number 1, we say we start with cash flow, right? It's our financial blood. What's coming, what's going out. But we have to understand that if we're making, say, $1,000 a month, but we're spending 1,500, we're in the red, right? That's a negative cash flow. We got to do something about it. You're going to ask me what? Well, you can look for a second job or third job, or cut expenses, start saving money, or all of the above, right? If we're in the cash flow positive, give yourself a pat on the back, a check mark, keep going. Step 2, managing debt. What do people typically do in December? Any idea? What happens in December, in the month of December? Spending. Michelle was like, spend. Yes, because it's Christmas. We buy gifts, right? A lot of us buy gifts with credit card. Statistically speaking, do you know on average how long it takes for people to pay off that credit card? Make a guess.
Oh my God. Years.
Overspend
12
years,
months.
yes. On average, 6 to 12 months. And what happens after 12 months? Another Christmas, right? Another Christmas. So it never ends. When I first got my credit card, I bought things on a credit card. But when I got the statement, I found out, I have to pay plus interest because I wasn't paying it. I didn't know I have to start paying it off. No one taught me. A lot of people don't know this. We have to understand there is good debt and bad debt. Understand what is good debt, understand what is bad debt, and then we need to manage it, learn strategies to do that. Number 3, emergency fund.
Wait, are you
What's
going
an
to tell us what good debt and bad debt is?
Oh, yes, absolutely. A good debt is actually, for example, a mortgage, right? Because we own something, we're leveraging someone else's finances to own our property, right? It's just like financing a car, for example. But a bad debt would be a credit card or line of credit, right? Because those interest rates are so high, and I'll get to that next, okay? Number 3, emergency fund. Do we have at least 3 to 6 months sitting aside, 3 months expenses set aside, waiting for an unexpected expense? Maybe you drive and your car breaks down, something needs repair. Maybe in your home, your fridge breaks down, you need to replace it, right? Your credit card, the real estate is not considered an emergency fund. It's maybe there's a roof repair that needs to get done and it's raining tomorrow, right? Number 4, we talk about proper protection. We need to protect against the loss of income. We need to protect our family asset. Do you have proper protection in place? Maybe your life insurance, maybe auto or home or property or critical illness or disability. Those are the protection that we need, not just for ourselves, but for our loved ones. Number 5, we need to learn to build wealth. We need to strive to outpace inflation and reduce tax. I don't know about you, every week I go grocery shopping. My goodness, how did things go up every single week? Isn't it ridiculous? Like, I don't think any one of our pay would go up at that rate. We'd like it to, but it doesn't. So we need to make sure where we're putting our money, where we're saving, actually outpace at least inflation, right? Back in, say, 20 years ago, at least in Canada, our housings were less than $200,000 for a single detached home. 20 years later, everything's over $1 million. But has our salaries increased to that scale? No. No, not even close, right? So we need to make sure we build wealth and focus on building that. And last but not least, preserving our wealth. How do we reduce taxation? I always say to my clients, if we don't plan properly tax efficiently, it's not just about growing, it's growing it tax efficiently. Because if we don't do that, guess what? We have a joint account with our government, AKA taxes, right? I don't know about you, but I would like a joint account with my loved one, with people I love, or I choose to share my wealth with, maybe a cause close to my heart. Building that family legacy, right? Do you think taxes are going to go up or go down? We need to learn strategies to grow our money and to reduce it. Otherwise, a big chunk of it will go to the government. Hey, don't get me wrong. We need to pay taxes. I'm not here to tell or teach you how to avoid tax. No. If anything, we're here to learn to minimize tax legally. And there are lots of legal ways. It's a matter of understanding and knowing and what to do, right? And of course, we talk about a will. Do we have a will? Do we write down our wishes? I know it's a morbid topic. No one wants to talk about it. I get it. The thing is, you know what? Without a will, a power of attorney for health and finance, who's going to make that decision for me in the event that I get into a car accident? I rather my loved one make those decisions for me than a stranger at the hospital make that. So it's a very critical to make sure that you have a will if you don't have one. And if you have one, great. When was the last time we looked at it? It's a time to review to make sure that things still make sense. Does it need to be updated? So unless you're okay in all 6 of those areas, number 1, cash flow. Number 2, debt management. Number 3, emergency fund. Number 4, property protection. Number 5, building wealth. And last but not least, preserving wealth. We need to look at every step of all of those phases and make sure that if it's leaking, we need to find ways to plug those holes. And here, I encourage you to come and learn the strategies to help yourself to become financially independent. Michelle?
Awesome. Thank you. Those 6 steps are totally key to giving yourself the security that you need to know that you've planned for not only yourself, but those around you who you love so much. But sometimes it's really hard to figure out. Thank you, Karen. To figure out how do you suddenly find money that wasn't there before? So, Janet, can you give us some examples of how to find something when it's just not there?
Absolutely. We talk about saving first and then spending what is left, right? We need to pay ourselves first, right? Instead of hoping or trying, attempting to save what's left over. A lot of times and nothing is left. And think about this. How easy is it for us to spend $6 a day? Simple, right? Maybe some of us are thinking I can spend more than $6 a day. Go out for lunch, pick up a coffee, pick up groceries, stop by gas for a car. Easy. Would you agree? But to take control of our cash flow, let's just say, cost of $6 a day, which is about $200 a month. And if it could grow 10% annually, do you know what happens? In 10 years, you actually saved over $39,000. In 20 years, you would have accumulated over $142,000. And in 30 years, you would have accumulated over $408,000. So what can you purchase with $6 today? And what could you do with over $408,000 tomorrow? Why are you saving? What are your goals? Where do you see yourself in 5 years? What will your net worth be? What will your retirement look like? What financial goals do you have? When you have these financial goals, it's easier to apply these principles by saving just $6 a day.
Similarly, are you planning on doing this on your own? And if you're looking to invite the right partner into your life or to recalibrate the relationships in your life, I've put theartofrelationshipping.com into the chat. And Janet, if you'd like to put your uh, contact information in the chat. So if you'd like to take a moment, even right now, to click on theartofrelationshipping.com, you can schedule, because you were here, a free relationship strategy call with me. You can even make it your choice, a 20 or 50-minute consultation. It's my gift to you. And we could talk about how to invite the right love in your life and how to increase your self-confidence, self-worth, and the trust in yourself in all of the relationships in your life. So just click on theartofrelationshipping.com, and where you see it says speak with Michelle, you can certainly put time on my calendar, and we can work one-on-one and customize a story for you to increase the relationships in your life. Similarly, you can click on Janet's link and set up time with Janet.
Absolutely. Let's sit down, complimentary. Let's go through where you are now, what your goals are in 5, 10, 20 years. Sit down and let's map it out. Sometimes when we go to uncharted territory, we need a GPS. And that's what it is. Let's sit down and find that GPS for you. And then let's make sure that we're going to be on track from now on. We're not going in circles, right? I look forward to sitting down with you, making a plan that works for you, growing and building strong financial foundation. Let's educate ourselves, make smarter choices, grow our wealth together. We all have the power to do it, right? And I appreciate Michelle for sharing all these, golden nuggets with us. And there is no barrier. Let's all get there together. And educating is key. By educating ourselves, we can unlock opportunities, make better decisions, and build, businesses and relationships that will stand the test of time. It's time to break down these barriers and build a stronger, more financially savvy community together. Thank you so much for being here. And thank you, Michelle, for
Thank
being an
you so
amazing
much.
co-host.
Thank you, Janet. Your wealth of wisdom about wealth is a gift to the world. And life is better with good love in it. So we want to extend that, our gratitude to all of you for showing up and sharing this time with us. I think we have time for one question if somebody has a burning question. All right, then we will see you when you set up personal calls with us together. Thank you so much for joining us. We look forward to working with you and talking with you and seeing your success in both love and money. Take care.
Yes, thank you.
Should we just leave?
Yeah.
Okay. See you.